I still like the OG version 1. Man. And then I compared it to the V2. Bro. So this is the V2. OG. And I tried jamming that with songs, right? With tracks. And I gotta say, bro, the OG catches my ear better. I can hear the pedal better in the mix. Because the V2, it sounds to me a bit scoopy. And I'm thinking, okay, it's a bit scoop. Let me increase the mids. It didn't work. It just sounds boxy. It just... The mids on the V2, we'll go back to the V2. And in the V1. To me, it's... The mids on the V1 is it's in the better place. It makes it very ensemble ready, band ready. I will hear myself better in the band when I'm using the V1. The V2, I think I will disappear. Sometimes I end up playing a gig a little bit under volume, but somehow I can still hear myself pretty good. Or when I play back the recording of the gig. Kind of like the mid-range just sits perfectly in that spot that belongs to you. Just imagine standing in a space that's meant for you, right? Instead of sharing a space that's meant for someone else. I don't know, that's just how I imagine the sound to be. See, let me try putting the gain up. So this is the V2 again. The mids in this one is 12 o'clock, around 12:30. Let me put it to 3, just 2 o'clock or something, just to make a point. I'll compare it with V1. So V2, V1. The V1's mids is around between 10 and 11 o'clock. And that's the mids that you're hearing from it. Listen again, this is V1 with the mids at between 10 and 11. And then we go to the V2, mids at 2 o'clock. You hear it? You see what I mean? When I increase the mids on the V2, it just becomes boxy. Yeah, this is the V1 and it sounds more grunty, more throaty compared to the V2. The V2 just overall sounds a bit, it just got flattened, or I don't know if neutered is the right word. Be careful when you hear those YouTube people saying, including me of course, but those YouTube people, they're saying that the V2 is brighter than the OG. And when they say the V1 sounds like there's a blanket over it, because once you increase that treble, once you dial in the treble, it's gonna be, on my one here, it's about 2:30 o'clock. It's close to 3 o'clock. Once you dial it in, it's pretty good, because it sounds to me like the upper mids on the V1, it sounds thick and grunty and growly and throaty, which is a sound that I really like.
You have to keep in mind though that we are listening to these pedals solo, and you may have some opinions about them now. However, when you listen to it in the mix, when you play the pedal in the band context or to a song you're jamming, you will hear it. So V2 tends to blend in the mix, probably even to the point that you would want to turn up because you might struggle to hear yourself. It sounds quite leveled and maybe even balanced when you're hearing it solo, when you're playing the pedal by itself. On the other hand, version 1, the mids are very forward and they're very vocal. One might even say pokey. I find that's actually very important in the mix. And when you're in the mix, that actually sounds pretty good. It'll sound muscular, if you know what I mean. And it's all contextual, right? Because in a studio situation recording and in a live situation or jamming situation, the application is going to be different, of course. But for me personally, for everything except the studio, I'll be using the version 1. Now, there may be instances where I might be using the version 1 in the studio, but most of the time we're going to be using amps or plugins or whatever doesn't sound shit, right? But yeah, I really like the version 1 pedal, man.
So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna give this a chance or if I'm just gonna sell it immediately. Flip it. It's not gonna be a good flip. But what do you think? Any tips on how to make this work? You know, one might suggest that it might work for down-tuned guitars, but you know, with the version 1, I remember when I was playing some stuff in down tuning and I was easily able to dial in a tone that I liked. And usually I find that with a distortion pedal, if I can find a tone that I like in my usual tuning, I can usually find a tone that I like in different tunings, low tunings. And conversely, if I don't really like a pedal initially with my normal tunings, I don't think I can make it work in any other tunings. So I'm unsure about this one, man. I might end up getting rid of this. So far, it's a nope for me because of these reasons. I'm a little disappointed. Maybe I'm using it wrong. I think I tried, man. I really wanted to make it work. But when I got the version 1 pedal before, I don't remember putting in this effort to make it work. I think it just worked, like, it just clicked. But with this V2, it's taken me, it's hard. Initially, when I was playing it with it by itself, you know, when I was dialing in a tone that I liked from it, I thought it was cool, it was fine. But then when I came back to the V1, whoa, that's when I started comparing it.
You see, I thought it could be something that is improved, something that can be a successor to my old faithful version 1. And with that, I could move the version 1 to a solo tone, as in a pedal I kick in for solos.
Man. Well, if you like this sussing out, you know what to do? Click that button. If not, you can double click it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. Let me hear from you, man. GM.